Some men will be lessons, and some men will just be a waste of your time. And one man will be the man that God has for you. And I want you to know that this man does exist, but you need to learn how to recognize him and receive him so that you can experience an amazing relationship. My name is Stephan Labossiere, aka Stephan Speaks, back with another dating and relationship advice video for women. Today I'm going to be giving you the 7 clues you have found the right man God has for you. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and comment below. Leave your feedback. I love to hear from you guys. Now, today's video is brought to you by my best-selling book, The Man God Has for You. Be sure to get your copy. Just click the link in the description. But trust me, you're going to get a lot of information from this video, but there is more to get in the book. So again, get your copy. Women are loving it. Thousands of reviews. So let's get to it. Like I said, there's a lot of women out there that are struggling to believe that a great man exists for them. And you may be one of those women, all right? And dating has seemed to gotten harder for a lot of people. Relationships seem to be getting worse for a lot of people. But I need you to understand you can experience great results. You can receive that man God has for you. You can get what you desire. But of course, we have to be mindful of the approach we're taking in life, and we have to be mindful of recognizing this individual, because a lot of women have unfortunately picked the wrong man and have gotten involved and caught up with an individual that only created more damage, more misery, more wasted time, simply took them off track, derailed them from their purpose. You name it, it was a disaster with this man. And it was because the selection process needs some fine tuning. So I'm going to lay out some clues for you so you can be better at recognizing that guy so that you can actually experience the great relationship. So let's get to it. Clue number 1 is you will be attracted to him. Now, I know some people might be like, well, of course, but some people, there's a reason why I need to put this in the list, especially for those women who are believers. Well, I'm assuming you all are, because a lot of women have been led to believe that they should give men a chance they're not attracted to. Plain and simple. That, you know, oh, he's a nice guy. Oh, he could treat you well, blah, blah, blah. And listen, I'm not saying that those things should not be considered. What I am saying is God is not trying to put you in a relationship where there is not attraction. Because when you remove physical attraction, you will see respect start to dwindle. You will see admiration start to dwindle. You will see affection start to dwindle. The quality of the relationship suffers when there is no attraction. Now, we can acknowledge and recognize that women in general, I won't say every last woman, but women in general can be attracted to more than just how the man physically looks. So his ambition, his intelligence, the way that he speaks to you, him being funny, all these things can make him more attractive in a woman's eyes. But that's why I'm using the word attraction and not looks. If you're focused on looks, then to me, you're focused on the wrong thing. And when I say that, I mean, you're focused on, well, he has to be this height. He has to be this complexion. He has to have this build. He has to look this specific way. And though there's nothing wrong with you wanting what you want or having your preferences, I don't shame anyone's preferences. But I don't want you to box yourself in, because the reality is that plenty of people have experienced attraction with individuals who may not have been typically their type, all right? Who may have fell outside the box a little bit. There may be a slight variation. There may be a huge variation. But either way, attraction was still there. And that's the key. The key is there has to be attraction to have a successful romantic relationship. And the reason why God would want that included, and that would be a clue, this is the guy that God has for you, is because, again, without that, the relationship is going to resemble a mess. Even if you can initially get past it, even if you can initially convince yourself this is not a big deal, at some point, it's going to wreak havoc. It's going to cause problems, and it's going to create division in the relationship. So again, any relationship that God wants to give you is going to be a part of glorifying him. So why would he give you one that he can't be glorified in? Because you're not really feeling your partner like that. You're not really drawn to your partner like that. You don't even want to touch your partner like that. And yes, satisfying each other's needs within marriage, all right, is a part of what the whole union is for. So understand that attraction must be in place, but it does not have to be about specific looks. And let me say this, because there's a quote I used to float around the internet, and it was, the man for you may not come in the package you expected, but he will have everything you'll need. That doesn't mean he's going to look like a complete mess. And again, you won't be attracted to him. Don't ever confuse anything I say with the idea of attraction is not necessary. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I remember posting it and people taking issue with it because they took it the wrong way. But anyways, let's move along, all right? So clue number 2 that you found the right man God has for you is you'll be able to talk to him. Now listen, I can't tell you how many women I have coached and counseled who complain about not being able to talk to their partner, all right? And not in the sense of everything was going great as far as you guys were able to talk to each other, had this great communication, and then certain events took place that may have caused division or created some issues in the communication. Not saying that that's an acceptable thing, but that can happen. Like, it's possible that it can go in that direction even for two people who have typically been good at it. I'm talking about from day one, the communication is not really there. And what happens is a lot of women, for various other reasons, push past that. One of the reasons, and it's just hitting my spirit right now, but I guess it's kind of common sense. One of the reasons is that you guys are so used to men not communicating that you now give a pass to every man about his lack of communication. You've now diminished the value of this quality or the importance of it because you think it is typical and common to have a man who is unwilling or unable to talk to you. But that is a huge mistake. What you have to understand, or the way that I want you to look at it, is this. Yes, it is common for men to lack good communication with a woman, but I would argue that a huge reason for that is because if two people are not for each other, it's going to be a lesser chance of them being able to communicate well together. Not because they're not capable, but the desire and the willingness to take the necessary approach and to take necessary steps to good communication isn't there. All right. So I'm laying that out to say, when you understand that with the right guy, it will and it should and it has to be there, then you have to look at all these other men as not an example of how men are, but an example of how the wrong man is. Let the lack of communication be a sign of the wrong man, not a typical man. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't want you to project that onto men in general, because then you will always make an excuse for it. But you have to understand that no, with the guy who is for you, with the guy that God wants for you, he will be able and willing to talk to you. Even if he is not the greatest at it, he will be willing. And I would argue that he will be much more willing with you and much more capable with you than with other women. Because with other women, he doesn't have that desire, that connection, that thing that makes him want to open up. Whereas with you, if he's truly the right man, that desire is there. So you've got to be very mindful of that. And let me say this, one of the ways you're going to expose that issue as quickly as possible is to talk yourself. And I say it like that because so many women in the dating process hold back communication, hold back expressing themselves. You're not really giving this man, an opportunity to show you his willingness to listen and communicate with you. You're essentially letting him off the hook. And now you're making it harder for you to evaluate that issue. Now, I'm not saying overdo it or be like force the issue of communication just so you can test them, so to speak. No, I mean, like, be yourself. Be open, be transparent, be willing to talk yourself, be willing to express how you feel, and then let's see how he handles that. Because again, the man who is right for you is going to want to embrace communication with you. So you have to do it yourself if you're going to see if he's willing to do it with you. Next on the list, number 3 is you will share the same values. So again, all these things that I'm mentioning, I mention them because I see these things play out so often in so many people that I've coached, people that DM me, message me. Too many times, people are trying to, as they say, I always forget the sayings I want to say, as they say, force a round peg into a square hole, or a square peg round, whatever. Anyways, the point is they're trying to mismatch, all right? And they're mismatching based on the fact that the values are not the same. You want kids, he doesn't. You believe in marriage, he doesn't. And I'm just giving examples. It can go in reverse, whatever. But the point is, you are spiritual, he's not, which we're going to get more into a little bit later in this video. But you're trying to put two people together that are not on the same page. Maybe because you do have a high level of attraction. Maybe because he is a nice guy. And maybe you actually do talk to him well. Like, maybe the communication is great. You guys can talk to each other. And please understand, like, if this guy is the right man God has for you, it's going to be more than, it's going to be all these traits, to be honest with you, all right? And I'll sum that all up at the end. But the point is here, you can't overlook the glaring issue of you two not being in alignment with each other because you have decided you want this man. And this is the mistake so many women make. They find this man, and again, for whatever reason, you decided, maybe he makes a lot of money. I felt the need to say that. Okay, maybe he's rich. Either way, you find these reasons, you latch on to okay, I want this. And in you now wanting this, you have tunnel vision. And you become blind to the red flags, or you become willfully ignorant to the red flags because you don't want to throw anything off from getting what you have determined you want. But God knows what you need. You know what you want. And what you need is going to always be better than what you want. And what God has for you is always better than anything that you can imagine. So you cannot get caught up in your own perception of things. And you've got to tap into your intuition, tap into your spirit, talk to God. Make sure you're not being led astray by your own desires, all right? And I know some of you might be saying, well, God will give you the desires of your heart. Yes, but I believe those desires are the core desires of love, of communication, of safety and security, all right, of peace, of family. These real core desires. God's not really stressing over, well, I'm going to make sure this dude is 6'3", okay? Or he's not stressing over, oh, well, he has to, when he comes to you, be a six-figure guy. And we'll get into all that stuff in another video. And I'm not, again, shaming any preferences, but I want you to know that God wants to give you the man that's going to make you happy, that you can have an amazing life with. And sometimes that fits outside of a box that we've imagined for ourselves. But anyways, to get back to the point, the values have to align. You guys have to be on the same page. You have to want the same things. And when that is there, then yes, this is a good clue. Okay, we're at least moving in the right direction. Having the same values within itself does not say this is the right man for you, because there's going to be plenty of men who share your values. But that has to be a piece of the puzzle. And if it's not, it cannot be ignored. It cannot be dismissed. So now we get to number 4 on this list. And this one, you might be a little surprised by, some of you. Number 4 is you will feel vulnerable with him. Now, this is extremely important for you to understand. I'm going to break this down from 2 angles, all right? I'm going to break this down from the healthy woman angle, healthy emotionally, and the woman who has not healed angle, okay? And I'm not going to lie, most of y'all are going to fall into the woman who has not healed. That's just the reality, all right? That's nothing to be ashamed of right now. We can address that and correct that, but that may be where you are right now. But let's start with the healthy woman angle, okay? You meet that man who is for you, who you really are truly into, all right? It pulls out all your vulnerabilities, all right? And to a woman who is healthy, it feels like heaven on earth. I mean, it feels so amazing. It's like what you pictured when you were a little girl in the fairy tale. That's how it feels. When you're in his presence, when you're with him, it feels like a dream. It's so amazing and wonderful. And when you are a healed woman, you will love this. and you will embrace this. And this is going to be a clear sign for you. Now, yes, there are plenty of women who get goo gaga over a guy and it be the wrong guy. And that's why, again, we have to always align these things with the other things we're mentioning on this list. And of course, most importantly, we have to align it with you actually going to God in prayer to confirm this is the man you should be entertaining or you should be with. All right. But outside of that, you will feel a level of vulnerability. Your ability to be feminine with this man is going to be easier. Your ability to open up to him is going to be easier. Your ability to be yourself with him is going to be easier. All of that falls into vulnerability, and it's an amazing experience. But now let's flip it to the unhealthy woman. And the reality is it will scare the crap out of you. You will be like, what the hell is going on? It will be a mixture of, in moments, it feels amazing. And then when you step away for a second, you're like, holy crap, what just happened here? Like, it is going to be overwhelming. It is going to make you feel like you're losing yourself. And the reality is that you won't be losing yourself. You'll actually be getting closer to your true self. But you can't tell the difference because this new person that you've walked in for however many years, months, whatever, that you've conditioned yourself to believing you are, you now identify as this woman. So to make it a little bit more clearer for you, if you become a guarded woman and you become a woman who carries more masculine energy, so to speak, you may now start to believe this is who you are. I'm just like this, blah, 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 right? Now you meet this man and he's the guy. And now you feel super vulnerable. And now that wall is coming down on its own. Now that masculine energy is dissipating and you're like, what's going on here? And now that's why I said you will feel like you're losing yourself because you will be pulled away from the wall, the masculinity, the hardness, the fear. Well, not the fear, because the fear is going to creep back in because you haven't healed. And you're going to feel like I'm getting away from who I thought I was. But no, you'll be actually drawing to who you truly are. But anyways, I always say this one deserves probably its own video. But the point is, when you are not healthy emotionally, this can be a very scary experience. And I have seen tons of women, run from the man that is the right man for them, that they have the connection with, that something amazing is happening here because it scared them. Because it was too much. Because they felt like they weren't worthy. Which is another issue and another symptom of having not healed from your past. And so I need you to understand that side, because sometimes as a woman, you may confuse the fear, the uncomfortableness of it all, all that I explained as, okay, this is just too much. This must mean I should not be with this guy. No, it means you need to address the deeper issues. It means you need to get yourself right from within. It means that you need to draw closer to God in that moment and gain clarity from him and not allow your fear or your mind or outside influences who don't understand what's really going on here to throw you off track and pull you away from where you actually belong. So just understand that, yes, when he is the right man God has for you, he will make you feel vulnerable, more vulnerable than you feel with other men. So now we have number 5 on the list, and that is he will draw you closer to God, not further away from him. So this is I feel like that hits some of y'all hard. and the reality is that so many women, I see women getting with men claiming God brought this man. But when I examine the relationship, I see her praying less. I see her worshiping less. I see her values, her godly values, being compromised. And so now I have to question, how can this man be from God if he's only going to deter you from walking the path God wants you to walk? How can he be from God if he's actually discouraging you, all right, in your spiritual path rather than encouraging you, rather than uplifting you, rather than embracing, all right, the path that you both should be walking in that relationship? Because you want to have someone that will pursue God with you, all right? Not that you have to pursue and drag him along. And definitely not you're trying to go one way and he's going a different way. That's not going to work. So again, if you start dealing with a man and he is pulling you, whether directly or indirectly, because it's not automatically he's telling you, go do all these bad things, all right? But if you find yourself compromising because of him, all right, this is where, at the very least, first you have to check yourself and find out where's his head at. Because what's coming to me now is I'm saying him influencing you indirectly, but that's kind of not fair, because if you have made your own decisions, then we can't put that on him. But if he is in any way deterring you from things like you praying, if he is in any way undermining your spiritual walk, all right, intentionally and with his actions, and when I say intentionally, not just simply he wants to destroy it, but his way of life goes against the way of life you need to be living, all right? This is a problem. This is a problem. The bottom line is this cannot be entertained and continue. Now, again, as always, talk about it, make things clear, and let's see if sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. Sometimes it's two human beings getting caught up in the hype and all the greatness of each other, and sometimes we lose sight. And I'm saying that in the sense of what's honestly coming to mind or hitting my spirit is sex, all right? I can see a scenario where you have two genuine people of God who generally trying to walk the path God has for them, meet each other, everything's exciting, it's explosive, and they may slide into intimacy sooner than they should, right? And I don't want to put that on, well, then that means he came from the devil because he let you have sex with him. No, I think that if you discuss it with him and he is, again, the man that God has for you, he will respect how you feel. He will want to make things right. He will desire to walk a path. And if you introduced waiting to him in advance, he would not reject it, all right? And at the very least, even if I've seen scenarios, if I'm going to be completely honest, I've seen situations where women have met men who were for them. But again, he was not where he needed to be yet. So if you have a situation where you feel like God is telling you this is the guy, but this guy is still in his current state trying to pull you on a different path, then this is where we go to that belief that I embrace, which is right person, wrong time. All right. And sometimes people still need to develop in their walk, in their spirituality before you can join together with them. The fact that they're not there yet doesn't mean they're not the person. It means they have not gone through their process yet. And the reality is that there are things on your end that you need to go through. All right. But I won't dwell too long on this specific point. I kind of feel like I'm a little all over the place. But the point is here, I want you to understand that you cannot be getting into relationships or believing this man came from God when he is directly pulling you away from it. That is a contradiction to what God would want in your life. It doesn't work like that. But again, always address the issue, talk to God, and see if the situation can be resolved or this is just a clear sign that this man needs to be let go. Now, number 6 is he will be able to lead you with love. Now, listen, I know some of y'all may be a little sensitive to the topic of the man leading in the relationship. Not all of you, but some of you. But the reality is that under God's structure, God wants to give you a man who can lead, who you can depend on. Not that you have to put him on your back. Not that you have to make him into a man. None of that stuff. That's not what's necessary when you're dealing with a man that God is trying to bring to you. Because even if you believe you need to help this man develop, then that can be done within the construct of friendship. But to be entering into romantic relationships with men who are not capable of leading you is extremely problematic, and it will go against what God wants to establish, because if he cannot lead you, we start to now go downhill from there. Because the reality is that when a man can't lead a woman, that woman is not going to be able to respect him. Even if initially you can navigate through it, at some point, his inability to take lead, be assertive, make decisions, have vision, have a plan is going to turn you off. All right. It's going to throw things off in the relationship. And now everything is going to get worse because now the respect goes, the attraction starts to go. The intimacy starts to go. The communication starts, everything starts to fall apart because that respect isn't there. I always say if a man doesn't have a woman's respect, he will not have her love. So you've got to understand that you can't be trying to get with men who at their current state, you do not believe in their ability to lead in a relationship and think it's going to work itself out later. I'm not saying no one has ever pulled it off, but the majority of people fail miserably. The majority of people end up resenting their partner. And again, none of those things would be glorifying God. So why would God set you up for that? That's not how he wants this to be. But understand something. Yes, God wants to give you a man who can lead you with love. Remember, I said with love, not be your dictator, not simply, tell you what to do and you just do it and shut up. No, someone who's going to listen to you, consider your feelings, and do what is best for the team, the unit, you and this person being together, moving in the same direction, all right? But though he's going to give you a man who can lead, you have to prepare yourself as a woman who can be led. The reality is that some of you struggle in that area. Some of you have grown up never seeing a man who can be relied upon, never seeing a man who can be trusted to lead. Some of you have been told your whole life, depend on no man. So now your ability to do it is severely hindered. And some of you may say, well, no, if that man came along, I would be able to. No. You will struggle. You may have moments where you can, but you will have much more moments where you resist, where you fight back, where your walls will come up. There's going to be friction because you have not become comfortable with this idea. Now, again, it is not about submitting to any random old man and letting any man lead you to your demise, okay? We're talking about the right man God has for you, the man who is able to lead you with love. That's the key. And a man who leads with love looks very different than a man who leads for his own selfish desires and looking out for himself. So you got to be able to discern those two things, but understand that you've got to get to a place where you can truly embrace that. And that means if you have that negative mindset of men, you've got to reprogram yourself. You got to get out of that negativity. You got to maybe even go look for, well, I was going to say go look for positive relationships, but that might be difficult for some of you to even find a positive example, which is another contributing problem to why you may struggle in this area. But you got to heal. You've got to heal from what has been poisoning your mind. You've got to heal from those bad experiences. You've got to heal from any of the dysfunction you've gone through because you've got to get to a place where you can truly embrace this man leading with love because that's going to create the most harmony in that relationship. It's going to give you peace. It's not about giving the man power. It's about giving you peace. Understand that. When you have a man that you can trust, can lead, and you can lean on him, that gives you peace. Don't you want that? I know you do, but you just might be uncomfortable with what it takes to get there. But work on it. Pray about it, but trust and believe that's going to be another piece of this puzzle. And now number 7, but before we do, one more time, get your copy of The Man God Has For You. Best-selling book, over 5,000 reviews now on Amazon. Going crazy. Women are loving it. Click the link in the description or in the comment section. It's the first link you'll see there. Trust me, you're going to love it. But number 7, that kind of ties a whole bow on this, is you will experience a deep and genuine connection with this man. So at the end of the day, being able to be yourself, being able to be vulnerable, being able to communicate, attract, all these things play into connection, all right? Now, I'm a believer that connection is when two spirits are recognizing its match. And they say that in spirituality, things happen in the spiritual before they happen in the physical, which is why I believe the connection is something that exists before we've even come across it. Like right now, that connection is there with you and someone else, but we won't, until we come across that individual, until it's time for us to see it, we won't know. And so for some of you, you may have yet to experience that connection, and you may not understand this whole concept. Others of you are in it right now. Others of you have experienced this, and you know, and I always say in all my videos, it's like having an orgasm. When it happens, you're going to know. It hits hard. It's like nothing else. And again, it's all those things we talked about, the vulnerability, the communication, the being yourself. It's an amazing experience, and you need that. I have seen that the missing ingredient in all these failed marriages and failed relationships is a lack of connection. That was the key. And those who experience it, and it's not to say that if the connection is there, it guarantees you'll get the person, because two human beings still have to make decisions, all right? And it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have the perfect relationship, because again, two human beings got to make the right decisions. But it gives you the foundation for the greatest success possible, all right? You find two people who have a connection and are putting forth that effort, their relationship is like nobody else's. And nobody can come in between those two people. And that relationship can last through all the tests of time, because that connection is that glue that keeps them together. And it's because it's a piece of God. It's like having God directly in your relationship, but you still have to, yes, include direct, intentional inclusion of God. You still have to pray together. You still have to, put God first in that relationship. We can't neglect him or even put our partner on a higher pedestal because we're so in love and we feel this connection. No, God must still be first, and we must still consult God in all that we do. But that connection is an amazing spiritual experience, an amazing experience altogether. And that is definitely an ingredient that has to be there when he is the right man God has for you. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. But when he's willing to embrace your desired level of communication and be consistent, and he wants to hear from you, he wants to talk to you, this is a very good sign he wants a serious relationship. Because again, most men